In the days when Israel was trapped in a cycle of sin, oppression, and deliverance, the people once again did evil in the sight of the Lord. As a result, God allowed the Midianites to oppress them for 7 years. These Midianites, along with the Amalekites and other eastern peoples, invaded Israel during harvest time, swarming the land like locusts. They stole crops, livestock, and destroyed everything in sight, leaving the Israelites impoverished and hiding in caves and mountains. In their desperation, the Israelites cried out to God for help. In response, God sent a prophet to remind them of his past deliverance from Egypt and warn them that their suffering was due to disobedience. But God also began his plan of deliverance. He chose an unlikely hero, Gideon, a man from the weakest clan in Manasseh and the least in his family. When we first meet Gideon, he is hiding in a winepress, threshing wheat in secret to avoid the Midianites. It was in this moment of fear and weakness that the angel of the Lord appeared to him and greeted him with a powerful declaration. "The Lord is with thee, thou mighty man of valor." Confused and doubtful, Gideon questioned why all this had happened if the Lord was truly with them. But the angel assured him that God had chosen him to save Israel. Still hesitant, Gideon asked for a sign. He prepared an offering of meat and unleavened bread, and the angel touched it with the tip of his staff, causing fire to consume the offering. Then he vanished. Realizing he had seen the angel of the Lord, Gideon feared for his life, but God assured him with the words, "Peace be unto thee, fear not, thou shalt not die." Strengthened by this encounter, Gideon built an altar to the Lord and obeyed God's first command, to destroy his father's altar to Baal and the Asherah pole beside it. That night he took 10 of his servants and did it secretly, fearing his family and the townspeople. In the morning, the town was outraged and demanded Gideon's death, but his father, Joash, defended him, saying if Baal was truly a god, he could defend himself. From that day, Gideon became known as Jerubbaal, meaning, "Let Baal contend against him." Soon after, the Midianites and their allies crossed into Israel and camped in the valley of Jezreel. The Spirit of the Lord came upon Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, summoning the tribes of Israel to join him. Yet even then, Gideon sought confirmation. He laid out a fleece of wool on the threshing floor, asking God to make the fleece wet with dew while the ground stayed dry. God did so. Still unsure, Gideon asked for the opposite the next night. This time, the fleece stayed dry while the ground was wet. God graciously confirmed both signs. Gideon assembled 32,000 men, but God had a different plan. He told Gideon the army was too large and that if they won with such numbers, Israel would boast that they saved themselves. God instructed Gideon to let all who were fearful go home. 22,000 left and 10,000 remained. But God said the army was still too big. He told Gideon to bring them to the water and observe how they drank. Those who lapped the water like dogs with their hands were chosen, only 300 men. The rest were sent home. With only 300 men, God would deliver Israel. That night, God told Gideon to go down to the Midianite camp for reassurance. Taking his servant Purah, Gideon crept to the outskirts of the enemy camp and overheard a man telling his dream, a round loaf of barley bread tumbling into the Midianite camp, striking a tent so it collapsed. Another man interpreted the dream, saying it was the sword of Gideon and that God had given the Midianites into his hand. Encouraged, Gideon returned to camp and rallied his 300 men. He divided the men into 3 companies and gave each man a trumpet and an empty jar with a torch inside. At night, they surrounded the enemy camp. On Gideon's signal, they blew their trumpets, smashed their jars, and shouted, "The sword of the Lord and of Gideon!" The sudden noise and lights threw the Midianites into panic. In the confusion, they turned their swords on each other and fled. Gideon's men pursued them, and reinforcements from other Israelite tribes joined the chase. The victory was decisive. Israel was delivered from Midianite oppression not by military might, but by obedience and trust in God. Gideon became a judge over Israel, and though the people wanted to make him king, he refused, saying, "The Lord shall rule over you." His leadership brought peace to the land for 40 years. Gideon's story is a testament to God's power through weakness, his patience with our doubts, and the extraordinary things he can do through ordinary people who trust him. It reminds us that no matter how small or insignificant we may feel, When God is with us, we are never outnumbered.